Hi, good day, and welcome to our math class. Today's topic is about properties of kite. Still, we are in third quarter math 9. We are going to take a look at our quadrilateral family tree. So we are done with parallelogram. We are also done with special parallelogram. We are also done with the trapezoid. And the last one will be kite. So we're going to deal with the properties of kite. And kite doesn't have any pairs of parallel lines. So these are the properties of kite. Number one, two disjoint pairs of consecutive sides are congruent. Diagonals are perpendicular. One diagonal is a bisector of the other. One diagonal bisects the opposite angles, and one pair of opposite angles are congruent. So we're going to deal with this one by one. So the first property of kite is two disjoint pairs of consecutive sides are congruent. So yung tinutukoy na pairs of consecutive sides here are JK and KL. So that is the first pair. And then the next pair is JM and LM. And according to the property, so they are congruent. So therefore, JK and KL are congruent, and JM and LM are congruent. So if JK is 5, so KL is 5. And if JM is 14, therefore LM is also 14. The next property of kite is diagonals are perpendicular. So the term perpendicular, so it means if two lines intersect, they form right angles. And diagonals, we're going to identify the diagonals here. The diagonals are JL and KM. And if you're going to take a look, JL and KM, so they intersect. And according to the property, diagonals are perpendicular. So therefore, JL and KM, when they intersect, they form right angle. So here, angle KOL is equal to 90 degrees. And we still have three more right angles here. And those are angle LOM, angle JOM, and angle KOJ. So they are also right angles. The third property is one diagonal is a bisector of the other. Ibig sabihin, isang diagonal lang ang nagpabisect dun sa other diagonal. And in this case, in our figure, KM is the bisector. So the word bisector, let's compare it to the word collector. Di ba pag sinabi natin collector, taga-kolekta. So therefore, pag sinabi natin bisector, taga-bisect or tagahati. So yung KM yung naghahati or yung tagahati. So KM bisect JL. So yung KM, hinati niya yung JL. And hinati niya yung JL into two equal parts. Yun yung term na bisect. So, ang nabuo natin nung hinati yung JL ay JO and LO. So, we can conclude that JO is congruent to LO. So yun po yung tinutukoy ng one diagonal is a bisector of the other. So now, kaya one diagonal lang, so hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na yung KO here is congruent to MO. So yung JO and LO lang ang congruent. So if JO is 8, therefore LO is also 8. So next property is one diagonal bisects the opposite angles. So again, yung tinutukoy nating diagonal dito ay still yung KM at binisect niya yung angle JKL. So ito po yung angle JKL. So JKL. So angle JKL, So yung nabisect yan ng KM, so again, yung KM, hinati niya yung JKL. So nung hinati yung JKL na angle, so nakapag-produce tayo ng dalawang angle. And those angles are, the first one is JKM. So ito po yung JKM, yan yung tinitrace ko. JKM. So ito po yung JKM. JKM is here. Yan po yung JKM. And the next angle is angle LKM. So ito naman yung angle LKM. Angle LKM. Now, so since KM bisect angle JKL, so therefore JKM and angle LKM, so they are congruent. So again, bisect to cut into two equal parts. So they are congruent. So that is angle JKM. So for example, it is 42 degrees. So therefore, angle LKM is also 42 degrees. One pair of opposite angles are congruent. Now, so if you still remember the properties in parallelogram, so both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. But here in Kite, only one pair of opposite angles are congruent. So those pair of opposite angles are KJM, so that is angle KJM is congruent to angle KLM. So yan po yung opposite angles. So angle KJM and angle KLM. So magkatapat po yan. So they are congruent. Now, so if we're going to take a look here at the figure of Kite, so meron pang isang opposite angles, tama? So that is JKL here, JKL, and angle JML. So hindi po sila congruent. Kasi nga, according to the property, only one pair of opposite angles are congruent. So for example, if angle KJM is 94 degrees, therefore angle KLM is also 94 degrees. So let's proceed to the area of kite. So now we are done with the properties of kite. So the formula for getting the area of kite is D1 times D2 over 2. Now D1 stands for diagonal 1 and D2 stands for diagonal 2. Now we have here two diagonals. So JL and KM. Ngayon yung D1, wala naman designated talaga na diagonal yan. For example, ang D1 kailangan yung JL. Wala namang ganun. So kahit ano yung diagonal 1 at kahit ano yung diagonal 2. So JL, it could be diagonal 1 or it could be diagonal 2. So it doesn't matter naman. So as long as we're going to follow the formula. So area is equal to diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 over 2. So if we're going to explain that, so to get the area of kite, so you're going to multiply first the measurement of JL and the measurement of KM. And then after that, so we're going to divide it by 2. So let's have an example here. In kite JKLM, so this is JKLM. So JL, so this one, the first diagonal, so JL is 9 centimeter. And KM, so this diagonal is 14 centimeter. So what is its area? So ano ang area ng kite given that we have 9 centimeter for JL and KM is equal to 14 centimeter? So siguro ganito na lang, since ang JL ay pwedeng diagonal 1 or diagonal 2. So, depende na lang siguro sa pagkakasunod-sunod or pagbigay nung given. Since unang binigay yung JL, so this will serve as our diagonal 1. And KM is diagonal 2. The first thing we have to do here is to rewrite first the formula, which is A, or area, is equal to D1 or D sub 1 times D sub 2 all over 2. Then after that, we're going to replace the value of diagonal 1 and diagonal 2. So diagonal 1 is JL, diagonal 2 is KM. So we're going to replace D1 by 9 and then D2 by 14. So it will look like this. So A, which is the area of kite, is equal to 9 times 14 over 2. And after multiplying 9 times 14, which is 126, so we're going to divide it by 2. So 126 divided by 2 is 63. Now, so don't forget to include the unit. Since we have here a word problem, and in our problem, so we have a unit for the diagonal, which is 9 centimeter and 14 centimeter. So don't forget to write the unit. Since we look for the area, so the unit should be in square centimeter. So the answer here, the area of the kite is 63 square centimeter. Ngayon, kung wala namang nilagay na unit, for example, so okay lang na walang unit yung answer. But since we have unit here, which is cm, so we have to include that in our final answer. Okay, next, we're still in area of kite. So the difference here is yung area ay given. So the area is given. So ito po yung area. So given po siya ngayon. Kasi the prior example, hindi given yung area. In fact, yun yung hinahanap. So what are we going to do if the given is the area? In kite JKLM, again, so the area is 96 square meter and km is 16 meters. How long is JL? So this time, ang nawawala ay yung isang diagonal. So still, we're going to rewrite the formula of the area of kite, which is A is equal to D sub 1 times D sub 2 over 2. So we're going to replace the value. So yung A, papalitan natin yan kasi given yung area. So that will be 96. And then D1, papalitan natin yan ng km or 16. So or pwede rin namang D2. So but this time, let's just replace D1 with 16. And then JL here, so that will be our D2. So it will look like this. So 96, yan po yung area na given. And then yung 16, so that will be diagonal 1, that is km. At yung JL, yung nawawala, so that is D2. And then over 2. So the next thing we have to do here is to divide 16 by 2. Since yung 16 is divisible by 2, so pwede nating i-divide yan. So we can simplify that. So 16 divided by 2, so will be 8. So if we're going to rewrite the formula, so it will become 96 is equal to 8d2. And then we are almost done. We just have to remove 8 so that d2 will be isolated or it will be alone. So we're going to divide both sides by 8. So divide 96 by 8 and 8d2 divided by 8 or d sub 2. So we can cancel now 8 and then what will remain is d sub 2. So we just have to simplify 96 divided by 8. So the answer will be 12. So 96 divided by 8 is 12 is equal to d sub 2. So just to make it more standard, so the answer here will be JL is equal to 12 meters. So pinalitan na natin yung d sub 2 ng JL since yun naman talaga yung hinahanap. And then we put also the unit which is meter. So the final answer is 12 meters. So let's have now the angles of kite. So it's like more of activity. So we have here angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. So what we're going to do here is to identify the measurement of angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. So we have here given 38 degrees, and then we have here also given 23 degrees. So we're going to apply the properties of kite so that we will be able to look for the value of each missing angle. So let's have first angle 1. So if we're going to have here angle 1, so what property is applied in this item? So we have here diagonals are perpendicular. So KM and JL are perpendicular. Meaning to say, so if they intersect, KM and JL, they form right angle. So therefore, the measurement of angle 1 is 90 degrees since this angle is a right angle. Now, so let's look for the value of angle 2. For the angle 2, so we're going to use of the given 38 degrees and the angle here. So we have here, so this angle. So we know that this angle is 90 degrees. Now, additional part of this activity, so you have to remember that the sum of the angles of triangle is 180 degrees. So this triangle here, so the sum of these angles is equal to 180 degrees. So therefore, angle 2 plus 90 plus 38 degrees should be equal to 180 degrees. And with this information, we will be able to look for the value of angle 2. So what we're going to do here is to add 90 plus 38 and then subtract it from 180. So you try that. So again, 90 plus 38, then subtract that by or from 180 degrees. So try to pause first the video so that you will be able to solve it. So angle 2 here now is equal to 52 degrees. So how did we get 52 degrees? So 90 plus 38, so that is 128 degrees. And then subtract it from 180. 180 minus 128 is equal to 52 degrees. So last number, so number 3. So what is the measurement of this angle? So actually this is easy. So we just have to apply a property of Kite. So the property that we can apply here is diagonal bisect angle, or diagonal bisect the opposite angles. So we have here 23 degrees, so that is JMK. Since KM bisect this angle JML, so we can conclude that JMK, so this angle JMK is congruent to LMK, so this angle. So we can now say that if JMK is 23 degrees, so angle 3 here is also 23 degrees. So more about angles of Kite. So this time we don't have diagonal. Remember, the angles of a quadrilateral or any quadrilateral, or the sum of the angles of any quadrilateral, is equal to 360 degrees. So we have here angle 1 and angle 2. So we're going to look for the value of each angle. And the given is 113 degrees here and then 51 degrees here. So the property that we can apply here is one pair of opposite angles are congruent. So that is a property of Kite. Now, one pair of opposite angles are congruent. So this angle here, so this angle here and this angle here is a pair of opposite angle, and we can see that they are not congruent. So therefore, the pair of opposite angles that we are looking for here is angle 1 and angle 2. So ito yung tinutukoy natin na pair of opposite angles na congruent. So we can conclude that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. So there, the sum of the vertex angles of any quadrilateral is 360 degrees. So if we're going to add angle 1 plus angle 2 plus 113 plus 51, it should be 360 degrees. So to look for the value of angle 1 and angle 2, so let's add first 113 and 51. So the answer here is 164. Now, so we can identify, or we can solve now, the remaining measurement of the angle. So to look for that, so we're going to subtract that by 360. So 360 minus 164 is 196. So bakit natin minus yung 360 sa 164? So that we can identify the measurement of this angle. So 360 minus 164 is 196. So itong 196 na to, ito yung measurement nung sum ng angle 1 at angle 2. So that is the sum of the measurement of angles 1 and 2. Now, but we are not yet in our final answer. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na ang angle 1 ay 196 degrees at ang angle 2 ay 196 degrees. Ang binabanggit lang natin dito ay yung sum ng angle 1 and angle 2 is equal to 196 degrees. Now, so we will go back to the property one pair of opposite angles are congruent. So we know that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent, or they have the same measurement. And the sum of these two angles is 196. So to get the measurement of each angle, so we just have to divide 196 by 2. And with that, so the measurement of angle 1 is 98, since 196 divided by 2 is 98. And since angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent, so angle 2 is also 98 degrees.